while you and me repeat this bittersweet heat. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.
So today, as you can currently tell by the title, I'm going for a possessed fortune teller who played too much with the Ouija board and got herself in trouble. I found this via Pinterest, so let's just get straight into the video. So I'm starting off with my foundation, concealer and bronzer already done. My eyebrows as well today, and I'm going straight onto my eyes using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette and these two natural tones, blending that into my crease, and then I am going and diffusing it across the lid, just building that color up as you go. Then I grabbed the darkest brown shade in the palette and applied that into my crease obviously, and just applied a really light amount of product just to really define it a little bit more. Then I grabbed the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara for my lashes, and then I went and used the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit, mixing my two favorite colors, Summer and Moonstone, together before applying it lightly on my nose, cheekbones and brow bone. To set my face, I then went ahead and used Fix Plus before going on to lashes. Today I'm using the Flutter Lash in Days, which are these super dramatic, wispy, amazing lashes, and I cut them almost in half for my look because I really only wanted to define the outer edge of my eye, if that makes sense. Then I covered my lash line using my Tartiste liner, which is after I sort of made sure that the lashes were really stuck together. Now onto the more gory parts. I'm using my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk to draw the outline for the symbols that I'm going to put onto my forehead, which is a moon and a cross. I got this inspo from someone else that I saw on Pinterest, but I decided to make it more look like I burned it into my head, and it's actually called the Black Moon Lilith, the symbol I later found out. Anyways, once I'd drawn that on, I started using the Ben Nye liquid latex and applying that over the shapes that I had just drawn, as you can see, layering it up. While I waited for that to dry a little bit, I used NYX Natural Lip Liner to line my lips, and then I also used MAC Honey Love, one of my favorites for lipstick, because I wanted to go for a real neutral look. The liquid latex was still tacky. I went and put tissue over the top, which was quite difficult to sort of create the shape considering it was so small, so it did create a little bit of playing around and then applying liquid latex over the top of the tissue. I sort of did this in little bits and pieces, and I just kept applying more liquid latex, and then I would put more tissue over that as well. Waited for the liquid latex to dry a little bit before I applied my MAC Studio Fix foundation over the top of the tissue just to give it a more realistic skin look. Then I blended it in, and then I went and grabbed these tiny little scissors, which I do normally use for cutting lashes, and I started to pull up the liquid latex. Be really careful not to get your skin, as I always say. I sort of was just using the scissors just to sort of slightly cut it open just to create more of a gaping hole and to create some type of skin texture. It wasn't really about creating a cut or anything like that for this. And then I used the Montmartre black face paint and some retractable lip liner, as well as the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lip in Heathers, which I always use. I really do like this color, and I sort of mixed them all together, and then I decided that I wanted to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette again to blend the darkest reddy brown shadow to sort of create more of a burnt effect around the edges. So I applied that before I went on to the actual scab. As you can see, it sort of creates that effect. Then I went in and outlined the shapes just to give myself a bit more of guidance and also to deepen up the cut a little bit more. I will link the name of this color from the NYX retractable lip liner down below because I can't remember right now. Once I had finished sort of outlining the shape, I went and started painting those mixed colors, which is the black paint and the liquid lip. This also creates a base for the cut, and I sort of go underneath where I've lifted the tissue so that it goes underneath and onto the skin. Then I use this Vivid Matte liquid lipstick from Maybelline in Rebel Red because it is quite more of a bloody red color, so it will look good underneath all the other gory stuff. and I wasn't happy with how it was looking, so I sort of want to create some more texture, as you do with these looks, and I lifted it more with the scissors, as you can clearly tell. And I was sort of smudging and blending using the same brush that I used before, and then also using my fingers just to make it look really burnt into my head, if that makes any sense. This look is really set off using the Mehron coagulated blood gel, which really just makes it look so realistic. I'm just applying using a tiny little brush that I used before and applying that over the top of the like scab effect look, just to really deepen and darken it up. It's a really thick, dark, like looking blood, and it just makes everything look so good. Applied that over the top and also underneath the tissue where I put the skin, just so it sort of looked gappy and more realistic, I guess. And I also decided I wanted my lips to be a little more mythical, or I guess more like a fortune teller and different. So I used this ColourPop metallic liquid lip, but I don't even know if they sell it anymore. I'll link the name down below in the description box anyway. Now onto the chest portion of the video. I started by just randomly drawing letters with the same NYX retractable liner, trying hard not to draw them backwards while looking in the mirror, just to sort of give myself a guide. The same Coastal Scents brush that I used before, and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette and that red brown shade that I used on my forehead before to try and get some colour around the letters. I guess it makes it look more realistic, like a deep painful burn or cut, you know, when you get that, you know, red outline under something that's deep and painful. I don't know if you've ever had that, but I was just trying to make it look a little bit more realistic before I did the liquid latex, and just spending a lot of time blending that. Speaking of liquid latex, I went ahead and started drawing over the top of the letters using the same tiny pointed brush. I find this better than using the liquid latex applicator. It's just a bit more precise. So I just applied that over all of the letters, and then I went ahead and let it dry for a little bit before I went ahead and did a second coat. I guess I was trying to layer it up to try and get a really good textured skin effect. I think that you could apply some tissue over this, but it was far too fiddly for me, so I went without, and I didn't want to make the look too block and thick, if that makes sense. I wanted the letters to be thin. I then set using MAC Light Plus powder after I waited for it to dry, and then mixing the black face paint and the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lip again to start drawing over the letters, while still trying to keep the texture of the letters for that burn effect. Then I went over the top of each letter using the same coagulated blood as before. I think the K and the N came out the best. I would have liked the other letters to come out darker and look more textured, and I think they looked a little bit too red for my opinion. Anyways, once I did a little more blending after doing all the letters, I sort of tried to smudge it out a little bit. I also wanted to create some blood drips, so I just on a couple of the letters I sort of added some extra blood on, so to create those drips and deepen them up a little bit. And then I went back onto the face once I was finished with the chest, and I added some blood from the $2 shop to create my bleeding tears look, which I obviously wanted, and I ended up drawing to save me the trouble of the long drips, which clearly I still struggled with. I just created a round sort of circle under the eye and then created that drip effect on both sides of my eyes, obviously, and trying not to make the drip be too intense. Finally, this look wouldn't be complete without its finishing touches and the costume. The creepy contacts, of course, you need those. So again, I used the Pinky Paradise white mesh contacts, which are really hard to see out of. I'm not going to lie, very difficult. I have a discount code in my description box if you want to grab some for yourself. I also used this wig from blossomcostumes.com.au, and the turban, choker, necklaces and nose ring is also from an Australian store called Lovisa. So if you're an Australian, you are in luck. And then I also put some jewels on my hands, which were also from Lovisa, to sort of create that gypsy look. I just feel like they all wear lots of jewelry. Anyways, guys, give this look a thumbs up if you liked it. Tag me in your looks if you recreate it this Halloween, and hopefully I will see you all very, very soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.